Michael Knowles. Now, this guy's he saw it. Apparently, he's very mad about it.
Search Michael Knowles sizzle reel if you got time later. Folks.
Yeah, and I saw Marjorie Taylor Greene was tweeted like, Chris Stapleton with a beautiful rendition of the national anthem, as opposed to all the other wokeness. And so someone responded, like, just say blackness.
Yeah, right.
There were two performers that were like the highlights: the guy that sang the national anthem, the country singing white guy, and the black woman who did the halftime performance. Just say it.
It was Cheryl Lee Ralph, who is on Abbott Elementary and is like a dynamic performer in her own right, which this clearly rankled Michael Knowles very much so to watch this happen.
I mean, let's be clear here too. Like, these guys like wait for the Super Bowl halftime show every year.
Yes.
Is like it's like a war room mentality, because they're like, we're gonna find the controversy, and if we can't find one, we'll make it up, and it's gonna be easy because we know there's gonna be some black performers, and we're gonna go to town on this. Like the famous wardrobe malfunction that existed, right? Like, what are we going to tell the children? It turns out that one of the performers had a nipple that people saw for like the
0.5 seconds,
0.0003 milliseconds,
and it worked at the time. I should say that the years after that Janet Jackson debacle, they only had old rock star performers. Like, the NFL listened to that right wing culture media machine at that point,
and people mostly blamed, I feel like, Janet Jackson for the mishap as opposed to anything else. They were like, why was she wearing something that could even happen, like that type of thing.
But here's Mike Knowles. What's he got there? What is that? What is his
leftist tears as well?
Oh, leftist tears. Very clever
original
stuff. That's only like 20 years old. Let's go.
But now the libs are saying there are two national anthems, one for black people, one for white people. Which one do the Hispanics and the Asians and the other people? I don't know which one they get to sing. Maybe they'll get their own. But if there were two national anthems, that means that there are two nations.
Can you just pause it? We should say only one national anthem was sung. The actress that sung this sang a different song.
She's saying "Lift Every Voice and Sing," which is sometimes what is sung on like Juneteenth.
Oh,
or
yes.
like
Okay.
It's
all
like
right.
It's a hymnal.
Great. Yes. Okay. Two countries. All right. Sorry.
People, I don't know which one they get to sing. Maybe they'll get their own. But if there were two national anthems, that means that there are two nations. Two competing nations. Are they going to be geographically distinct nations? Is what the libs saying here is that black people need one part of the country and white people need another part of the country? Or is it going to be two nations fighting over the same geographical land? Is it the libs calling for a race war? Those are the only options.
Those are the only options, ladies and gentlemen.
This is great.
Race war. If there's going to be two different songs that are sung before a football game, race war. Of course.
That must be why Mississippi is doing what they're doing, effectively creating what black lawmakers in the state have called an apartheid system, where there is an entirely separate court system determined by Republican lawmakers in Mississippi that can determine the fate of the black citizens in Jackson. That must have been, they were preempting this. They knew a race war was happening.
This is Will Shank. He's a former commercial industrial refrigeration mechanic, and he's answering on Quora. He says, the national anthem situation in Canada is complicated. Briefly, the official national anthem has two versions, French and English. The French version was the original, and the lyrics remain unchanged from the words that Sir Adolphe Basile Routhier wrote. The English version is a work in progress with periodic amendments prompted by various pressure groups. The nation of Quebec has an unofficial anthem, Mon Pays, by Gilles Vigneault. In 1964. The rest of Canada, there is a variety of songs. Some prefer to sing the original English language words from before the changes began. Others cling to Maple Leaf Forever. I hope this helps. So
that's why
race war in Canada.
Yeah, that's why America is such a better country. We don't have all this time spent on the different anthems.
Also,
we can focus on being number one.
Like the Star Spangled Banner, like it literally is a pro-slavery. There are pro-slavery verses in that. So I think what actually should happen is these things shouldn't be like sort of written down and delivered to us from people 2 centuries ago. There should be an ongoing process, kind of like the Canadian one, where we decide, oh, this song represents us as a people more than the other song. And I think we should get rid of the Star Spangled Banner for being pro-racist.
It's also just a crappy song.
Yeah, they also sang "America the Beautiful" before the Super Bowl as well. So
They
that's
did?
3.
Are you serious? Mm-hmm. We got a three-front war.
Yep. Better load up, get your guns out.
Yeah.
Let's see how he's going to work. And remember, folks,
This is what happened in
these are the
Rwanda.
only options: race war or some type of like Cold War, I guess, cold race war.
Or is it going to be 2 nations fighting over the same geographical land? Is it the Libs calling for a race war? Those are
Pause
the
it for
only
1 second. I just think do you think it's possible that, and I actually think this is possible, and maybe this goes to his credit, that there is a single human being out there who watched the Super Bowl and said, 2 songs.
Ooh.
Are we looking at a race war?
Ooh.
This is Rwanda all over again.
Oh my God. There was a lot of people, even before the game, they were just like, I'm chilled to the bone. I can't watch the rest of the Super Bowl because of what I just witnessed.
I think it says a lot about commentators if they constantly say like, oh, race war. It's race war o'clock now. Like Tim Pool was doing a lot of that.
Oh my God,
election.
yeah.
Because they live in constant fear of black people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll need another part of the country? Or is it going to be 2 nations fighting over the same geographical land? Is it the Libs calling for a race war? Those are the only options. If you have 2 national anthems for 2 distinct groups of people within the same geographic territory, then you're either calling for partition, like you saw with India and Pakistan, or you're calling for a race war from one group to conquer the other in the geographical territory. That's the only thing that can mean. I mean, you see the singer, whoever she is, singing this made-up song, and
Pause it.
you see.
I didn't realize these songs were made up.
Yeah.
What the national anthem we know was not made up. This was delivered like
From God.
From God.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you're not allowed. And how, I don't know how I missed this part of it because I had to pick up Saul at a birthday party. If you can imagine, there was a birthday party that went to like 6:45. Canadians.
Yeah.
They're Canadians.
Of course. Hate America.
But so I didn't see this, but were you not allowed to listen to both? Did you have to like pre like it's because it's separate for separate people, right? Like you.
I think it was broadcast at a frequency that white ears couldn't hear it.
I see. Okay. That makes sense. Because that's the only way that you have to. Right. Okay. Got it. I can't believe they made that song up though. That's crazy.
I know.
Go back. I
Other in
just love the fact that you made up song.
The black song's made up, but the national anthem is it's as natural as bird sound.
I'd like to propose an alternate hypothesis between the race war one and the other thing. Like maybe it's just like an attempt by major corporations at sort of multicultural inclusion symbolically.
No. That's probably what they want you to think. It's very convenient though, isn't it? Yeah, right.
Geographic territory, then you're either calling for partition, like you saw with India and Pakistan, or you're calling for a race war from one group to conquer the other in the geographical territory. That's the only thing that can mean.
Only thing.
And so you see the singer, whoever she is, singing this made-up song, and you see all these other people
The made up song.
of all different races behind her, looking very uncomfortable.
What?
And slightly bored and just largely confused. That's the right expression. You should be uncomfortable with this. This idea does not end well.
This guy, this is up there with the dumbest clips we've ever played on the show.
It's pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid.
But this is
stuff.
from a programmatic standpoint, like this, and like how they were like, oh, the Grammys, satanic stuff. This is just like an easy segment for them that doesn't touch on anything meaningful, and they can like get excited about it for their audience.
Yeah. Pretty crazy.
That was so dumb that it almost made me angry. That was just absolutely the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
It is funny though that he perceives the national anthem as to be a white song.
I think like the
Good point.
imposition of like saying like, oh, if you're going to add another song to this song, that's fighting words. Like that's a little bit of a violent reactionary sentiment to be sort of naturalizing.
Mm-hmm.